about the VOD and the silver screen. Kevin and Tom and Joe know all there is to know, from masterpieces to deep fried tacos. And if the movie sucks, you might hear them say, there's no telling where the guys will take you. Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you. Better watch out, it's gonna ruin the plot. Real spoilers. Real spoilers. Real spoilers.
Broadcasting from the lush but not lavish studios located in the basement of the O'Keefe Institute for Advanced Film Snarkitude, this is Real Spoilers, episode 861. Been caught stealing once when I was 5. I enjoy stealing. It's as simple as that.
You missed me on that one.
It's Been Caught Stealing by Jane's Addiction.
Okay.
And for a movie that takes place in the 90s and is called Caught Stealing,
How do they not
use this song?
I don't know, maybe the artist pulled the ASCAP fees.
Yeah,
No.
I know. But I don't know. But I know. Obviously, Jane's Addiction is in something of disarray right now.
Yeah.
But
Is that Dave Navarro?
was
he the lead singer?
I think Perry Farrell's the lead singer, but I think Dave
guitarist.
Navarro, I believe, is in it too. Like there's all these bands that kind of commingled that I always get kind of like spun around, like who was in what.
I think Dave Navarro is about the only thing I know about Jane's Addiction.
You know him over Perry Farrell?
I don't know why.
Because he's got the weird voice and
Perry Farrell attacks Dave Navarro during Jane's Addiction.
That's why I said they're in kind of disarray.
No kidding. What happened? 2024 is when this video's from.
They were on stage.
Yeah.
They were on stage and and then the other guys in the band were just like, we're done with you. Like, I think maybe he's back on the juice and things got weird and
man.
So
Oasis is like, whew, someone took the heat off us. Our tour actually started.
Yeah,
that betting places.
I know, right? That was I figured it would. There's too much money.
Too much money.
Too much money. Like, that they had those guys in some sort of like ironclad. If you screw this up, we are allowed to fine and kill you.
I mean, that's why the betting markets actually took bets, because you know what I mean. They don't want to take bets if they think there's a chance they're going to lose money or something.
Yeah.
They're like, this probably isn't going to happen.
Yeah. So I guess let's go around the table and introduce ourselves.
This is Kevin.
And this is Tom. Joe's out this week, and we were too lazy to find guests, so
I tried.
It's just the two of us.
No one wanted to talk to us.
It's August.
Without Joe.
Yeah.
They said, is Joe going to be there?
It's also sad that Joe isn't here. That's something you'll never hear me say again. He's so good at recapping stories.
I know. We hate it every time we have to do this.
And I credit it to the fact that he's a cop.
Oh, so he has to play back.
And he's good at and then here's a movie that the entire synopsis is a crime scene.
Oh my gosh.
He would be. This is his time to shine.
What's he doing? Come on.
But yeah, he's off doing family stuff.
Oh, he's not making salsa though.
No, he is not making salsa.
Okay.
So before we dig in, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you are there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. The group is called the League of Show Sharers. If you haven't joined it, you really should. But
there's no better time than now.
No, I say stop what you're doing and just go do it right now. But we are hoping you will share an episode, and then we will read your name if your privacy settings are set accordingly. So people who were kind enough to share an episode last week include Librarian Cynthia, Jason Weesey, Tammy Lynn Powers Betts, Brendan McGuckin, Jason McLean, Tom Dowdy, Travis Tewitt, Julianne Jordan, Richard Krotzer, Chris Magic Man, Phil Timon, Gabriel Lugo, Heather Sachs, Taylor Ward, Cinema Recall, Kevin Brackett.
Woo!
There, you happy?
Share every week, so I better be on there.
But you were eliminated because of the Brett Heimer.
I know.
But you weren't on last week, so
yeah.
You
finally.
Yes. Jason Aldridge, Nostalgia Cast, Ken Holtzhauser, Geek to Me Radio, The Kryptonian Orphan, In Session Film, Edit Photo Gamer, Ronnie Castle, Matt Naglia, Ryan Terry, and Mike, and Oscar. So thank you very much for sharing an episode, helping us get the word out. That is super helpful. And if you would like to help us not just by sharing, but with cold hard cash, please, yes, you can do that at patreon.com/realspoilers, $5 a month. You get all sorts of bonus content, and we like you extra. And we just
over 100 exclusives on
look
there.
at that. And we just put out, released the Stuart Saves His Family.
Oh, it's Pat.
It's Pat, but then what is?
Nothing.
Yeah. That was a weird one, because it's like, it's Harold Ramis. It's his follow-up to Groundhog Day. So, like, a lot of these SNL movies have weird backgrounds, and they're obviously just quickie cash grabs.
Right.
And that's not what they were trying to do here. Now, it didn't work, but it also didn't not work.
Right.
It was fascinating that, like, they were close to something really good, and they didn't quite get it over the line, but it wasn't for a lack of trying. Like, it's a good, talented group of people trying to do a very real thing. Honestly, way more than you would expect from an SNL character movie. It was, even though it didn't work, it was fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Well, like, the character, I mean, is built on, like, that pathos of, like, you're good enough,
right?
You know, you're smart enough. So, like, you feel like the movie, I mean, even though it is an SNL movie, you feel like it's gonna kind of have some kind of depth to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna try a little harder than just
because you almost have to, because of what it is,
right? Like, you can't. I mean, if you just take the character of Stuart and throw him into some zany whatever yuck movie, then it's like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah. So anyway,
what's your favorite? What is Blues Brothers your favorite SNL movie? What do you think?
Honestly, my favorite SNL movie, it's probably MacGruber.
Yeah. Do you think it's the best?
I think it's MacGruber.
Okay. Because I think when you talk about best films, you know, if you're trying to critique a film, I do think it's important to judge it based on what it's trying to set out to do.
Agreed.
And SNL movies aren't trying to be Citizen Kane, right? They're trying to make you laugh, and they're silly, and, like, MacGruber's great.
Yeah. I think from a filmmaking technical standpoint, Blues Brothers is probably a little better just because of all the stunt and action set pieces. But in terms of, like, if you told me I could only ever watch one SNL movie again, I would pick MacGruber over Blues Brothers.
That's
and Blues
fair.
Brothers is great. I'm not, like, being like Blues Brothers is awful.
Right.
But MacGruber, like, still makes me laugh, even though I've seen it like 5 times.
Okay.
Like, it's great.
I think Wayne's World for me, like Wayne's World 1 and 2. I grew up with those movies on VHS.
And and that's definitely a high water mark as well. Like, that's a really good one.
I know 2, like, gets some crap sometimes, but I don't know. I liked all the gags. I just liked the silly, like, very topical gags of the time in Wayne's World 2. They're very funny to me. It's very just silly, ridiculous kind of comedy. And I don't know. I'll always have a soft spot for those movies. I don't think there's a ton of great SNL movies, but MacGruber, Wayne's World, Blues Brothers I didn't watch till later. I'm not saying it's bad, but I didn't grow up watching that like you
for
probably
sure.
did, so like it doesn't have that same nostalgia for me.
No,
you know?
I get that. Which is a shame, because it is a good one.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
fun for sure.
I get if you came to it late. There's also, I think, if you come to it late, there's a lot of other movies that have mimicked it, so it doesn't feel as fresh.
Doesn't feel as original. Sure.
Yeah. Like, it's like if you didn't watch The Godfather until, like, right now, when they say, like, make him an offer he can't refuse, it just sounds like
every other.
Yeah, and it's just like no, they invented that.
Fair.
Yeah. So and then also don't forget we have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/@realspoilers, where you can watch all of these in glorious HD. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
So first impressions of this movie, I didn't know what to expect with this. I saw a couple previews that I kind of tried to avoid while I was at the theater, over the past few weeks. Looked like kind of a zany, fun type of movie. I really liked this. I thought this was fun. I'm a huge fan of Scorsese's After Hours.
Yeah.
And they put Griffin Dunne in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, yes, because that's the kind of energy this movie has.
Yeah.
I was thinking Coen brothers, like they're, Raising Arizona, wacky type of comedy. I think you get that Guy Ritchie element. I think a lot of people are going to think Snatch because of the different kind of mobsters. There's the Hasidic Jews, like that's straight, like Snatch has the same, thing where they have the diamonds and they're going after people who are stealing the diamonds, right? And then, but After Hours, like a guy, I love After Hours, and it's just a normal guy that gets into a situation and his night gets worse and worse and worse and gets into ridiculous things. I love it. So like this movie,
he's like trapped by the weirdness of New York City. Quick Change is like that as well.
I love that movie.
I don't know why that movie wasn't a bigger hit.
I don't know either.
Or it wasn't even a bigger cult hit. Honestly, I think it's one of Bill Murray's best movies.
You told me about it like 10 years ago, and I watched it, and I was just like, holy crap. Like, it's so good.
And it's so quotable.
Yeah.
Like, like, I don't know why that movie isn't just...
I had never heard of it, and you're like, you got to watch Quick Change. I'm like, what? Like, there's a Bill Murray movie I haven't, like, that's good
worth
that I haven't.
it? Yeah.
And
you're like, is that the one with the elephant? No, Tom, what's wrong with you? I'm not doing that.
But no, seriously, but After Hours is really interesting because it's Martin Scorsese.
Right.
It's not a mobster movie.
Right.
It's not his typical stuff that he has done, later, this like prestige, like it's a zany I don't want to say zany comedy, but like it's a series of unfortunate circumstances that this character falls down the rabbit hole into. And it's so funny for a Scorsese movie.
It's also similar to After Hours in that Scorsese is this very highbrow, artsy director who all of a sudden takes this weird left turn and makes this little silly trifle of a movie that you're just like, well, that's not what I would expect from him.
You would never identify it as his movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like you might be able to watch, I mean, obviously the mobster stuff, fine. You might be able to watch some of the like Taxi Driver or King of Comedy, whatever, they may have a look to them or whatever.
Right.
But like After Hours, if you put anyone, in front of that knows movies but didn't know he directed it, they wouldn't be like, oh, that's a Scorsese film.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it. It's so weird, and I love it more for that.
Yeah. And I feel like this is similar in
Darron
that
Aronofsky does.
Like Darron Aronofsky has made some movies that I've liked, not in a while.
Yeah.
He's never made a comedy, although he has made movies I've laughed at. That's been more recent. But I hated The Whale. I didn't remember that you hated The Whale.
I
hated that movie.
Oh, I liked it.
And I hated Mother, and I really didn't like Noah. So like I don't know that he's made a movie I've liked since Black Swan.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I Requiem for a Dream was one, like when I was getting into film,
best movie you'll never watch again.
Right. Yeah. But like, I've maybe watched it twice or whatever.
It's like
3
such
times.
A gut punch.
Yeah,
it
is. Yeah. It's so good though. So like I grew up with Requiem for a Dream, and this movie has kind of a gritty feeling that reminds me.
Hey man, I saw Pi in the theater.
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't see Pi until later on. Like I went back and I found it because I'm like, oh, I'm on an Aronofsky kick. I'll find some stuff he's done before, right? So like,
because coming off of Pi, there was rumors he was going to direct the new Batman movie, and I was just like, I kind of dig that.
Yeah,
I
forgot that he was in talks for that.
Yeah.
The Wrestler.
The Wrestler's really
excellent,
good.
Right? Now that's kind of, The Wrestler feels kind of like a departure. Now it isn't going into this dark comedy
right.
stuff, but the like a movie about a professional wrestler, and it's that's a movie with some like pathos to it, right? It's struggling, aging.
It's a straight ahead character piece
and
that
really good.
Yeah, and does where Black Swan is kind of like this perfect amalgam of Darron Aronofsky's stuff, where it's like, it's similar to The Wrestler in that it's a character piece, but it also does this weird
psychological
stuff that Aronofsky likes to do. And Caught Stealing, I thought the trailers did the film a disservice because I think it made it look more like a wacky comedy.
Okay.
And I was dreading it. I was dreading seeing this movie because I was like, this looks like a wacky comedy that's not funny.
Okay.
And so
that's interesting.
When the movie starts, and I'm like, okay, that's not what it's doing. There are certainly some funny moments in the movie.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like it was trying to be this wacky comedy.
No.
Like when you mentioned Coen Brothers, I was like, the trailer, I was like, they want to be Raised in Arizona. and they're probably going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it started and it's not doing that, I was like, okay, that's a relief.
Yeah.
And it I really like this movie.
Good,
I did not expect to like this movie because he's been on a real streak as far as I'm concerned. And the trailer totally made me think it was going to be something it wasn't. So I was relieved when it wasn't.
That's awesome.
I love the fact that he was just making a normal movie.
Yeah.
Like it was a normal...
Like it wasn't trying to be like at the end like some weird
profound,
crazy right. He wasn't studying religion. He wasn't trying to do the Black Swan dealing with mental illness.
He's just like, what if we just made a fun run and gun?
Yeah.
And it really works on that level.
Which is what I miss from the Coen brothers, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is like now that the Coen brothers have kind of gone their separate ways to pursue whatever, one wants to do more art house, like artistic stuff.
Yeah.
One wants to try to do some kind of zany whatever that just doesn't work.
Lesbian comedies.
Like that new movie, the latest one that came out that like looks like a direct sequel to Driveway Dolls.
Yeah.
But like they were probably like, oh, we need to not associate ourselves with the box office poison or the bad reviews of that one. But it's like this is the type of movie I miss. When I was in high school, again, like just really getting into films and finding the classic movies and Citizen Kane and all this stuff. Right? Like I'm finding the Coen brothers and Aronofsky and all the and Guy Ritchie. Right? So like again, like Snatch was one I watched. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Snatch. I was watching those movies over and over again, and I kind of miss that. I'm not saying no one's ever made one, but like. This reminds me of those, which were some like really formative films with
and set in the same time frame.
Yeah.
As those movies. I never really liked Guy Ritchie stuff.
You didn't get into that stuff?
I tried.
Okay.
And I was just like, I remember going to see Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and I'm just like, I don't understand a word anyone in this movie is saying, and I am completely disinterested, and I like completely just checked out mentally. I was just like,
his dag, Snatch, his dag. What do you say? His dag, my dog.
Yeah, I was just like, I was just like, I'm out.
Oh, okay.
So like, I don't know that I've ever seen a Guy Ritchie movie I liked.
It was a really good one. That Gentlemanly Warfare with Alan Ritchson and Henry Cavill.
Okay, that was okay.
Was a really fun, but again, seemed kind of atypical from his usual Guy Ritchie thing.
Yeah.
Didn't he also direct that terrible Taron Egerton Robin Hood movie? Wasn't that a Guy Ritchie movie?
Oh, maybe. And obviously he did the Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah, I liked those.
The first one was okay. The second one was bad, I thought. But yeah. So like, I was caught off guard, as was my wife, who did not want to see this.
Okay.
But she tagged along, and she was like, okay, nice. That was really
Katie
good.
really enjoyed it too. So I will say Guy Ritchie did not direct the 2018 Robin Hood movie, but we all thought he did for some reason because like the visual style or something. I think it maybe looked like those Sherlock movies or something. Because I remember everyone thought that it was Guy Ritchie for some reason. So I just wanted to
That's funny.
correct that. Yeah. Oh, he did King Arthur.
Okay, I knew he did
those were
one of them. Those sorts of movies.
And this was around, what it did is it looked, I think they had maybe like anachronistic music in the trailer, and he did the King Arthur, and this Robin Hood looked like, oh, is Guy Ritchie doing another old telling of whatever, but anyway. Remember the 2018 Robin Hood movie is the one where they had stitching, like machine stitching on Robin Hood's outfit, and like it's Jamie Foxx and Taron Egerton, like they have hoodies, but like with stitching on them, and you're like, What? No one's making that back in the Robin Hood days.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So this movie's set in 98, and Austin Butler plays Hank.
I thought he was really good in this.
He was.
I'm not an Austin Butler fan, not that I'm a detractor, but like, take
him or leave him.
Take him or leave him. He's whatever. I never even saw the Elvis movie. I want to mention Elvis because the YouTube comments.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't he in an Elvis movie?
Yeah, he was the one where Elvis is a pedophile. Oh, that's all of them. No,
thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, he was in the big Elvis movie, not the.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. I did not see Priscilla.
Yeah,
I did see him in Elvis. Where I'm like, okay. I mean, it's fine.
He was really good as Elvis. The problem with anybody playing Elvis is such a cartoon character that it's really difficult to do Elvis as a real human
Subtly.
being because Elvis was not a real human being.
Thank you very much. I mean, all you want to do is be like, oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, so it's like he's such a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
Like, and he starts as a caricature of himself, and that caricature only gets bigger as he gets older. And so I think it's really hard to play Elvis as a real live human being.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I liked him in that role. But then I felt like every movie he did in interviews, he talked like Elvis.
I mean, he said he had a really hard time dropping that voice.
Which is like the Jeff Bridges Crazy Heart, True Grit thing, where it's like after that, I felt like every single thing was that, right?
His mush mouth, yeah.
And so I was worried that Austin Butler was going to get stuck in that. And I don't know if it's more subtle now or I've just gotten used to the way he speaks, but I feel like in this one, I didn't hear Elvis.
Right.
Right. But no, I thought he was really good. It was surprising to me how good he was as an actor, right? Like, you know, obviously he's been in a lot of stuff, you know, he's a good looking dude, whatever. But like, I've never, even in Elvis, thought like, oh man, he's a phenomenal actor. And in this one, like, I really felt for his character and all the crap he was going through.
Yeah. Where is Austin Butler from? Is he American? I honestly don't even know.
I believe he is.
Because he does so many voices and accents.
Right.
I didn't know if, you know, maybe he's
California.
I mean, I didn't know if like maybe he's Scottish and he's just
I know
putting on an accent.
Well,
the whole time,
and that's the thing where like Henry Cavill, I'm not saying his accent is bad, but like the British actors that try to do the American accent all have that kind of like gruff, you know, I'm doing an American accent kind of a thing.
Many of the I find so many of the British performers who try to do an American accent, they drift into John Wayne.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the quintessential American voice.
Right. It's a funny story, not having to do with a British actor, but Katie and I have been watching Whose Line Is It Anyway, going back through and watching old episodes and stuff. And so we're on one of the CW, like season 15, let's say it's 2019 that it aired. And Ryan Stiles is up there as he usually is. And this is taking place 30 years after John Wayne dies. And they go, do this as famous celebrities. And he does John Wayne.
Yeah.
And me and Katie looked at each other and we're like, how long has John Wayne been dead at this point, right? And you went to John Wayne, and then after the segment, like after the game, other people gave him crap for it too. Like you went to John Wayne for this. It was just funny to think of that. Like
it's an easy impression to do,
right?
Like it's kind of like everybody has a Jack Nicholson, everybody has a John Wayne, you know,
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, especially of a certain age, right? Because Ryan Stiles is probably in his 60s. Yeah. So like,
but we did look it up. John Wayne died when he was 20, so like he wasn't like 50 when he died and grew up for his whole life. I don't know, but he was a big actor.
But he was a big actor, he might have died when Ryan Stiles was 20, because he died in 79, yeah. And
that's right, because it was 2019 it aired, so we were like 30 years after he died.
But I will also say, like, you know,
I'm sorry, 40 years. That's right, because he's 60 something. So he was 20, so it was 40 years after he died. Yeah.
But even then, he was just such a giant movie star.
Right.
So it's like, you know, he still would have had his movies were playing on TV every weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I know locally, you know, Channel 11. I mean, almost every weekend there'd be a John Wayne movie on, whether it was a cowboy movie or war movie or whatever.
He was in so many movies. I remember going to the V-Stock, the local reseller. They have a few of them around the country, and they were like selling VHSs, and they had end caps for different genres or whatever, and it was like the John Wayne.
He is a genre,
and it's like, holy crap! There were movies I've never heard of. You know, not just the famous ones, but there were all these different ones that I was just
and he probably made. Like, he really didn't become a movie star until Stagecoach, which I think is like 1939. And
was he on like Gunsmoke or anything? I know Clint Eastwood was. Was John Wayne on any like TV shows?
So Clint Eastwood was on Rawhide, I believe, and then
he didn't do Gunsmoke.
I don't think so, but
was John Wayne ever on any of those type of?
No, but when Gunsmoke first started. So Gunsmoke, the Marshall Dillon was played by James Arness. Okay. And James Arness had been John Wayne's stunt double.
Oh, okay.
And on the first episode of Gunsmoke, John Wayne appears, and he basically says, you should like this guy.
Okay.
He gets the John Wayne cowboy seal of approval.
Okay.
To kind of like help jumpstart that show. Now, he was never on an episode proper, but he does introduce the first episode of Gunsmoke.
That's so interesting.
To basically like give him the like, you know, there's no way John Wayne's going to do a television show.
So it was his stuntman starring in it.
Yeah.
So he came out before and said like, this is
basically said like, you like this. Yes, I bless this production.
Wow. Yeah. So did he like walk out in front of like a stage or something before the episode starts? Like, how did they even present that?
I don't remember how they structured. I just know that he came out in that first episode and was like, "This guy's okay. You better like him."
Yeah,
and
that's so interesting. He was like an influencer getting his endorsement.
Yeah.
You know?
And then that show ran for like 22 years.
Yeah, wasn't that the longest running before The Simpsons beat it out? Wasn't Gunsmoke the?
Yeah, and I know Kelsey Grammer was upset because they canceled Frasier. And if it had gone one more season, he would have beat the record for the longest time playing a character on television, the same character on television.
That's right, because he did it in Cheers.
And then people were mad because they canceled the original Law and Order one season before it like beat Gunsmoke. It like would have. Yeah,
that's wild. They're like, you couldn't just gone a little longer, but now The Simpsons is in 35, so it's like you can't. No one's ever coming for that.
But live action is a lot different.
True, if it's a different. Yeah, I mean, I know they like to say televised series, whatever, and the characters are the same or whatever.
Yeah,
but you're right. If you put that asterisk on there, then sure, live action's a lot different.
But I mean, this is crazy to think that show started in like 1955 and ran until like 1975.
That's wild.
Yeah, and honestly, I think. It was still popular when they got rid of it. It was just kind of part of that. CBS didn't want that kind of stuff anymore. And then they still brought it back for like 4 or 5 made-for-TV movies.
But like Westerns, I mean, wasn't there a certain point in time where Westerns were like the superhero movies of the time where people were just like...
Oh, yeah. I mean, Western movies and then Western TV shows. I mean, almost like it was like 40% of television shows were Westerns, but they were cheap and easy to make. So, you know...
Well, back to this one. All right. So Austin Butler, who I think does a really good job in this movie. The movie starts out, he's a bartender. It's closing time. You know, you can tell he seems like a good dude. You know, he's working at the bar. You know, his boss, Paul, there gives him a deposit to put in a safe. You know, and this is where I'm thinking like, oh, is he going to be caught stealing? I'm like, are we getting right into it? That I thought maybe it was going to be like, oh, money drops this way, and he's going to somehow have some kind of a scheme or whatever.
Yeah.
Not what it is, but it does set up the safe thing for later. And, you know, closing time, Zoë Kravitz comes by the bar, who plays some, not really his girlfriend, but clearly there's some kind of a connection there, and maybe they've been on and off again. And she goes to his place, and you know, they hook up. And on the way back to the apartment, you see Matt Smith, who is like punk rock, all spiky hair, mohawk type thing, and he's at his door, and he's like, hey, I got to go out of town, my dad died, watch my cat, feed my cat, kind of a thing. And they're just like, what the hell, no, I'm not gonna do that. He's like, do it, feed my cat, whatever. They have just funny interaction, they're gonna do it. Okay. And anyway, so flash forward, and we find out that like the next morning that Zoë Kravitz has taken the cat and brought him to his apartment, and he's like, I don't want this cat here. And she's like, it's fine, just let him walk around, it's good, whatever. And so that is, you know, what kind of jumpstarts all this craziness is over this cat. We find out like the next day, he walks by Matt Smith's apartment, and there's 2 goons there, right? And they're I think they're Russian mobsters is what they end up saying they are.
Yeah, I'm not for sure, because he thinks they're Ukrainian,
right?
And then
someone else says
the cop says that they're Russian.
And later on, we know there's a connection, spoiler. So I figured that she was right about that, but
or would she have been lying to throw them off?
True,
so that's why I wasn't sure. But I also don't know, like, most Americans, if they heard Ukrainian, would probably just assume it was Russian.
I thought that was really interesting, but he does explain it. He said he thought they were speaking Ukrainian because there's a restaurant or a market. He lived next to someone. There's a reason why he thought it was Ukrainian. But either way, I mean, it doesn't matter necessarily. There's no other plot point. But there's 2 mobsters that they're speaking a foreign language throughout, though, and so you get subtitles for what they're saying. But they're basically trying to get into this room, and Hank the Austin Butler character has no idea why, and they beat the crap out of him.
They beat the shit out of him for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even putting up a fight.
He just kind of stand up to him like, dude, get
he's
the.
Just what are we doing? What are you trying to achieve? And then they just kick the crap out of him.
And I mean, the interesting thing about this, in movies, you don't usually get people getting hurt so bad that they go to the hospital and have like a procedure,
right?
Unless like the plot point of the movie or the true story or whatever is based on this thing that happened. You don't usually get that. And I thought that was really interesting that they beat him up so bad that he wakes up in the hospital. Zoë Kravitz is there next to him, and she's like, yeah, you had to have your kidney removed.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, they beat the crap out of him.
Well, because he's laying there after they beat him up, and he pisses himself,
right?
And you
blood's
see
coming
it's
out, right?
blood, because he's just like, oh, that's not good.
So they set that up, and it's interesting because you learn a lot about the character here up front. That you find out that he has a drinking problem. You see at first that he's he works at a bar and he's drinking or whatever, but I don't know, again, I thought like movies, people party, whatever, like I wasn't thinking it was an actual problem, just like that's movie partying, right? But come to find out that he drinks a lot and he has stuff hidden all around his house, because it comes up that Zoë Kravitz is like, you can't smoke, you can't do this. He's like, yeah, I don't do that. She's like, you can't drink. And he's like, all right, like he hesitantly is like, okay.
And they've subtly established that if he doesn't have a drinking problem, he is well on his way to having a drinking problem.
I mean, he's like a functioning alcoholic.
He wakes up in the morning, and the first thing he does is grab a beer, and he's and like he's still at that age where you can pull it off as like, I'm just a character,
right? Like
who likes to have a good time, but you can see that they open his fridge and it's like almost nothing but beer, and then open the freezer.
He's like, in case I have to entertain. Because she's like, come on, are you serious? And then he goes to like every hutch, every cabinet, and it is just bottles and bottles stacked up, different kind of alcohol here, there, and the other. And he looks over at the cat and he's like, you don't think I'll do it, huh? And he takes 2 bottles and pours them down the drain. It's like, okay, cool. He's actually going to try to do this. Because it seems like, I feel like he and the Zoë Kravitz character are kind of off and on again, but it seems like this last time it's like they're serious and she's looking out for him. And I feel like, oh, he wants to make this work. He doesn't want to.
They've been kind of F buddies, but it's turning into something more, but it's not quite there. Not quite turned the corner yet.
But like him throwing out the alcohol when she tells him he needs to, I feel like is like, I'm serious about this.
Like they're like, in normal world, they're like probably about 10 days away from the what are we conversation.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So he ends up, so these guys end up coming back one time. I don't know, this may be a little out of order, but essentially the bad guys end up coming back. They bring a third person who is played by Bad Bunny, who is popping up in quite a few movies, and I actually thought he was really good in this. He didn't bother me in the other things he's shown up in, but in this one I'm like, okay, I think he's actually a decent actor. He was good in this role as kind of like, he seems like their boss, or he's kind of a higher up whatever kind of henchman.
He's clearly like mob middle manager.
Yeah, exactly. And come to find out, he's not the boss, but he's somewhere trying to navigate that. And anyway, but he comes back and they're kicking the door into the place, and so he has to like sneak away. He went to do his laundry at the laundromat, comes back, and he goes up to the rooftop, and then he ends up like to sneak back in his place. He wants to go down the fire escape and get in or whatever. The door, one of the windows that would be convenient at the fire escape is locked, so he has to like go around it or whatever. But it's a tense scene. They're like right in there tearing stuff apart, and he's kind of hide. One of the guys sees him, so he like sneaks away real quick. Anyway, is able to hide, get into his place, and sneak away. But like, these guys are serious. There's something in this apartment that they're tearing everything up to try to find. So anyway, they get away with it. They don't find it, and then what happens?
I think this is where he finds what they're looking for.
Yeah, it's
because he's he goes to use the bathroom, and the cat litter box is in there, and he sees like the cat took a hellacious dump. And he's just like, what did you eat? And then when he goes to like scoop it out, he realizes that it's rubber.
It's rubber,
It's fake. It's like novelty poop.
Right.
And he like realizes that it's basically like a dog toy.
Yeah.
And there's
I don't think a rubber toy squeaks if there's a big slit.
No,
that's the only.
That was clearly just for the audience's sake to be
it's rubber. Yeah.
This isn't real.
Which I'm not saying it ruins the movie. Trust, I'm not trying to be an asshole or whatever. But when they squeaked it, I'm like, but it's got a big hole. There's no like little tiny hole for it to escape.
Right. And if there's a squeaker inside, you're not hitting it in the right way to make it.
Anyway, it was just funny.
It was totally just a shorthand to convey this is not poop. This is a toy.
So it falls out as a key.
Yeah.
And so we have no idea what this key goes to. In the meantime, before this, in between the two visits, he does call the cops. They've beaten the crap out of him and all that stuff happened. And he calls the cops, and the cop is like, are you into some bad stuff? What is this guy doing? And he's like, I have no idea. I'm just watching the cat. He literally knows nothing. And the cop kind of messes with him. She's like, okay, I just testing you. But she's like, hey, if these guys come looking around, or like, you know who these guys are? No, if they come looking around, these monsters will mess you up. You run the other way and call me. And it's like two Hasidic Jews. It's Liev Schreiber and
Vincent
D'Onofrio, the kingpin himself.
Yeah.
And she's like, you don't mess with them. Okay. So
they're monsters.
Yeah. They've come by the apartment now and they're knocking on the door trying to get in or whatever. So like all of a sudden, all these characters are coming by and like, what has he gotten himself into? He just has no idea. I'm trying to think what else happens from.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
There's a lot. I'm just trying to think what is the next plot point that happens in this thing. I'm gonna have to check Wikipedia. I'm not as good as Joe with the. Let's see. He got.
I think this is where.
He goes back to the bar.
He goes back to the bar.
That's right.
And then his buddies, Griffin Dunne among them, like basically peer pressure him into drinking.
Yes.
And then.
Just have one shot.
Yeah, and he ends up like drinking like crazy, and then he goes home like just like completely drunk.
I mean, he is pissed, and Zoë Kravitz I think comes to the bar and takes him home. Right, he's stumbling around. She's like, "Let's get you out of here," and she's kind of understanding because she knows his backstory. We don't know yet, but there's also this like he keeps waking up in cold sweats from nightmares, and we don't know exactly what happened. They give you eventually a little flashback that like not the whole thing, but you see he's driving with a buddy, and they've got like varsity jackets on, and he's a big baseball fan. He wears a baseball cap. His mom's always calling him every single day to talk about the Giants, their team, and like, are they winning, the prospects, whatever. Like they're obsessed with baseball. And so there's a clear connection there. You see him in varsity jackets. You're like, okay, putting 2 to 2 together. Clearly he's into baseball. He was on a varsity team. He's now a bartender. Something didn't work out there, right?
Yeah.
They're drinking and driving. They're cracking open beers while they're driving. So you know it's going to end in a terrible situation.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
his buddy was like the main guy on Res Dogs.
Oh, I never saw that, but is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't pick that out. I've heard that show's good though.
It is.
Did you watch that?
I have. For me, it's a little hit and miss. Like, excuse me. Sometimes it gets. I feel like it tries to get a little too artsy for its own good.
Yeah.
So there's some episodes where I'm just like, what are we doing? But then it comes back around. But it's definitely worth a watch. I think it's only like 3 seasons. It's not a big ask.
Okay. So what we come to find out at the bar, what he was doing was he was giving Paul, the Griffin Dunne character, the boss, the owner of this bar, he was giving him the key.
Yeah.
Is what he believes he was doing, but he was so blackout drunk that he can't remember. But while he's being taken home by Zoë Kravitz, he ends up saying some really crappy stuff to her, and she's just like, I'm done. I'm out of here. And so she gets a cab and like drives off, which like, this is a tough one for me, and I know it's a movie, and I know that he said some crappy stuff, and clearly he wasn't in his right mind, whatever, but like, I don't know, to leave someone on the streets that you care about even somewhat, like,
But he basically said, I don't have anything good in my life to the only good thing in his life. Like, that was pretty insulting.
It was very insulting, but also like, then after he says it, he's like, I didn't mean you. Like, I know that it came across crappy, but like, he is like, so drunk, and to leave him walking home on the street that drunk, and like, I don't know, I just don't like that trope. I mean, it's clearly a way to set up him getting into some trouble, stumbling on the way home, but anyway, but that happens. I get it, she has the right to be mad, totally, but she leaves him. He stumbles home, and like, he starts taking off his clothes, and like, he's throwing up, and he's just gross. So he gets down to his underwear, throws his clothes to the side, and he goes back up to his apartment. we've meanwhile seen an interaction before where there's a homeless guy out there and they seem to be on a friendly kind of basis, which will come back into play later in the movie.
Because it's right as this part of town is starting to gentrify.
Oh, right. They do mention that. Yep.
I think this is when Bad Bunny shows up and they're like, and he's like, I know where the key's at. I'm going to go get the key back from the bar owner.
That's right.
And then he goes there and then they go there with him.
Yeah.
And then he goes in to get the key and then they don't wait for him. They come in and basically start trying to strong arm the bar owner and to give him the key. But the bar owner doesn't know what's going on because he does not have the key. And so at this point, Hank, Austin Butler's character, realizes like, oh, he doesn't have the key. I don't know where I put this key anymore because I was so drunk. And so then they have the big shootout.
Okay.
Like Griffin Dunne basically is like, it's in the safe, trying to stall for time, and they can't get the safe open. And so he's like, hang on, you got to do it just right. Let me get it.
Whatever.
And he goes in the safe. He pops up with a shotgun.
Yeah, he goes, oh, I got it right here.
And then they shoot and kill him, but they like lock the door because it's like a safe room.
Yeah.
And they have like a shootout through
the mail hole
the
or whatever
slit in the door.
Yeah.
And then Austin Butler, they're like they end up leaving, I guess, and you just see Austin Butler now is walking the street. Like somehow he just got out. They kind of like cheated a little bit as to how that got wrapped up.
Well, they said, we'll see. So at this point, then we know the cop's bad. Like if we're jumping to that, which I'm not saying is wrong to do, but like, see, I feel like this movie has a lot of subtlety to it. Like it's it has really good character development. You know, you get to know Hank, you get to know Yvonne, the Zoë Kravitz character. Like you live in it a little bit where it's not just jumping from plot point, but it's not slow at all. It's just a really well written and
they convey a lot of information in a very short time without feeling like they're just like spoon feeding you exposition.
Exactly. It's a really well written movie, which it's based on a book. So I didn't realize that, but apparently Charlie Huston, I don't think it's Houston. Charlie Huston wrote the novel, and it says the screenplay is by Charlie Huston. So that's kind of cool. He adapted his own. I know a lot of times they give it to a screenwriter, to adapt or whatever. But it's a really well written movie, and it kind of makes me want to read the book. I didn't,
and I think it's 3 books. I think there's
is it?
I think it's a trilogy.
Oh, that's cool. A lot of times, if I have time, which I didn't with this one, I do like to at least research the books or try to read it or listen to it or whatever. Didn't, but this movie's so good that it makes me want to explore the world a little more and see how close it is and what else there is. Do the 3 books take up this one movie, or are there like sequels possible?
I think it's like sequels, but I'm not 100%.
That's kind of cool. So anyway, but a lot happens. But anyway, so we come to find out that it's the dirty cop, the one that comes to talk to him, is in on it, and she's actually in charge of the mobsters, and Bad Bunny's kind of beneath her or whatever. So she's using her law enforcement connections to do all this stuff, and essentially, wherever it comes in the story, what we find out is that they've stolen. I think we find out later, but the Matt Smith character, the punk guy that he's watching the cat for, he was a drug dealer and he was selling drugs for the Hasidic Jews, and I couldn't even figure out the reason. Did you understand what he said? Because I didn't mean to, but somehow he ended up keeping the money.
So he's the punk rock guy is the banker. He's the escrow service. So everybody knows he's trustworthy, and so his dad really did die, and it freaked him out, and he just like left to go, or his dad had a stroke and then passed away. But like when his dad had a stroke, he's like, I got to go be with my dad, and he just got up and left and didn't tell anybody.
So he was really fine until he left town. Like everything would have been fine.
That's how I took it.
Because I couldn't quite figure out what he did.
He wasn't trying to screw anybody.
Because he said it. He's like, honestly, I didn't.
He just was like, oh my God, my dad is sick. And then he like picks up and leaves and goes back to London, and then his dad ends up passing away, and so he stays there, deals with the funeral stuff, and then he said he like turns his phone on or comes back. Well, his phone probably wouldn't work, right? Because especially this is 1998.
Yeah.
So like
he didn't have a plan.
You got a flip phone. You go to another country.
You have to get like a card for minutes to get international.
And so he comes back and he's got like 45 missed calls.
And he basically says they would never believe me if I told them about my dad and I didn't mean to. But he's like, I accidentally stole it. Now that's what they think.
Because he even shows he's got a tattoo of his
says dad or whatever,
like a new tattoo because he like.
He really did, yeah.
And so he's just like, but now that they think that I did it,
I'm dead.
I might as well do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so all that is unveiled. We're doing it a little out of order, but that's essentially what's going on with the situation. So the Hasidic Jews are after the money because it's their money, but then the cop, I guess, knows about it and wants to take the money. I guess they just want this, or are they all, because the Hasidic Jews don't seem to like they're all enemies, it seems like, fighting for this money. So I kind of was guessing that the cop and the cronies want the money, and the Hasidic Jews, it is their money. So they're like, I want to get it back for that reason. So I wasn't quite sure the relationship, and I apologize for not being totally clear on that, but it doesn't matter. It's a fun ride. Like, essentially, you know that it's like bad guys after money. You don't mess with these guys. He was working for them, but then these guys want the money, and that's where you get into the snatch type situation where everyone wants the diamonds. Everyone's trying to get after these diamonds, right? You've got the banker guy and the Jews that have the diamonds, and then you've got the mobsters and the pikeys, they call them. I don't know what the correct term would be in 2025 for them. They're like gypsies, and I'm not saying that as a drug, but whatever, you've got them, and everyone's after the money and the diamonds and trying to pull stuff. So you get that same feeling here with everyone's after this stuff and you don't know why. So anyway, the cops, now we know the cop is bad, and it's Regina King is the bad cop. She's really good in this. Everyone is actually. I just thought all the actors is a great cast. It really was. A ton of people in it. So anyway, they're like, okay, you're gonna bring me that key, like whatever you do. Like, he's the only one that can get to it wherever it is, so they leave him alive and let him leave the bar after the shootout. Right. But I think that's after Yvonne's dead.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember when she dies.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's hard because there's a lot that happens in this movie, so I can't remember what point, but I'm pretty sure at that point that once he finds out the cop is bad, that she's like, hey, no one else has to get hurt. I'm sorry for your loss, but like, do this and it will be over. Right. And it's because I think at that time he's suffering from the loss already. So Hank leaves the last thing he says to her. So, and that's the other thing. They have this cute thing where he's like, call you later. And she goes, you got my number. And they do that a couple times, and their relationship's really cute. You believe them. They have good chemistry. And the last time he leaves, because he's like, I got to fix this. And she goes, call the cops. And he goes, I can't, because the bad guys literally said, Bad Bunny said, if you call anyone, I'll kill everyone that you love. Right. So anyway, he leaves after kind of arguing with her and all this. And he goes, I'll fix this. Call you later. And she just looks at him and shakes her head. So it's like, ugh, it's the last interaction they had. Unfortunately, later on, how does he find out? I can't remember how he finds out now, because he doesn't know who kills her. But it was either he's talking to Bad Bunny on the phone, and he's essentially alluding to, like, if you don't give me this key, you do this or I'm going to kill everyone you know. Right. And then he starts freaking out, and he's like, oh my God, Yvonne. Runs back to her apartment, and this is really surprising to me. She's laying dead on the floor. Right. Like, they killed off Zoë Kravitz.
I kept waiting for it to be like, they faked her death. And it's like,
I thought it was the same thing.
She's dead.
Some kind of either cover up or she was in on it. I thought the same thing. So that was kind of a wild move. But again, that's something I really appreciate about this screenplay, and I guess maybe the novels like this. But again, he gets the crap beat out of him, and he loses a kidney. There's like stakes. They kill his girlfriend. There's stakes. Like, stories you get so much more invested when you're actually worried for the character. Yeah. And this is the type of movie, and especially being directed by Aronofsky, who, again, I mean, if you've seen Requiem for a Dream, these people's lives are fucked. Yeah. That you care about, right? So like, he's not afraid to have stuff happen, right? Right. And so you kill off Zoë Kravitz, and you're like, this dude is in some deep, like, he could actually be killed. So I do feel like it raised the stakes. It was surprising, but it also gives his character a lot of motivation to figure this out. And also, again, Austin Butler's portrayal, like, he gives a really good performance because he's heartbroken. She was the only thing good in his life that he has left, other than, I guess, his mom. He has a decent relationship, but again, they're all kind of like, their relationship is only like filling a gap between like what could have been his future. Like, you know, I mean,
Right.
they're living this dream that never happened. So it's very much kind of like talk about the Giants, hang up. Like, it's just, to me, it's kind of
It's
empty.
very surface level.
It is. So anyway, so they actually kill her, which is horrible. So he is like, okay, I got to figure this out because they are not messing around. And he thinks it's Bad Bunny because Bad Bunny says, I'm going to kill everybody. But later on, the cop is like, he wouldn't have. He's just all talk. And this is, I think, before he knew she was bad, but he talks to her after the death, and she's like, I don't think he would have done that. He
doesn't have the balls to pull the trigger.
He doesn't have the balls to pull the trigger. Exactly. And so later on, when they're at the bar, you know, before the big shootout, he's talking shit, and he has a gun up to, I think one of them kills the bouncer, like the bodyguard bouncer guy that's always there hanging out with them and Paul. And then he's got a gun pointed at Paul, and then the cop kills him because she's like, I'm done dealing with this crap.
Right.
Because, you know, he's just being a pain in the ass.
Right.
And he's shooting people now. There's more collateral damage.
He's a loose cannon.
He is, right?
Yeah.
So she just ends up shooting him. So anyway, after the shootout, he's trying to figure out what the hell did I do with this key? And I think he goes back to his place and he sees the garbage on the ground. And he's like, oh, crap. Or somehow it comes to him that, when he took off his clothes.
It was in his pants.
Which is very reminiscent of, I don't know if it's really a spoiler alert, but like we talk about Nobody, the first one.
Yeah.
Like you've had plenty of time to see it, where all this happens because of a kitty cat bracelet that sets him off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the straw that broke the camel's back,
Right.
but still, like, whatever. And it's like the whole time it was in his pants and he took them off because he was drunk.
Yeah.
And
so
like,
now the homeless guy has his pants.
if he had the key and like he was willing to give them the key.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And the thing that sucks about all this is it's not like he was like, I'm going to get the money. He's like, I don't know what this key is.
He wanted nothing to do with any of it. Yeah.
He called the cops, but then also when they're like, don't call the cops anymore, he didn't. And then he's also calls Bad Bunny and is like, hey, I found a key. Come get this thing. And it sucks because then he couldn't, and they think he's stealing it. You know, it's a big misunderstanding, again, like After Hours that I love so much. It's just a bunch of weird misunderstandings that, you know, devolve into this craziness. So he gets stuck with all this, and people are dying, and if come to find out, he took off the pants outside, and then the homeless guy who he's friends with ended up taking him. And he goes up to him. He's like, hey, man, I'm sorry to bother you. I think I may have left something in the pocket. Homeless guy pulls out the key, and it's like, yep, there it was the whole time. So along the way, in one of those flashbacks, we see the whole thing. And so, yeah, they're driving around, they're drinking. He ends up wrapping his car around a pole. And it's a terrible thing because obviously, no, you shouldn't be drinking and driving. But, like, probably nothing would have happened if a deer did not. It was a deer, right? Or some animal walked out in front of him. I think it was a deer.
Yeah, a deer, and he swerves.
And he swerves and loses control of the car, and he crashes into a pole. So a total freak accident, which, you know, again, doesn't dismiss what they were doing. But, like,
also, I mean, one, they're dumb kids.
Yeah.
Also,
country back road.
It's
I mean,
1982.
Okay.
Like, not that, so therefore drinking and driving is okay, but also people weren't as cognizant of drinking and driving in the same way that we are today.
Yeah, so it's a freak accident, and it ends up that his friend had his seatbelt off because he went to the back seat to grab another beer, and then of course this whole thing happens. Friend goes through the windshield, totally bloody and dead, wrapped around this pole, like literally. Austin Butler is injured in his leg. Something goes through his leg or something, or his bone sticking out his leg. Essentially, it ruins his prospects. I don't know if it's just because of the accident or because of the injury and the accident, but, you know, whatever it is, very bad situation. It's in all the papers that this up and coming, you know, baseball prospect was responsible for the death of his friend. So that ends up why he is where he is. And, you know, his mom is clinging on to this whole thing about they love baseball and obviously wanted him to go pro. And now they're kind of living vicariously through the, did I say vicariously through?
Vicarious.
Yeah, he's living vicariously. I said vicariously, but I'm like, that's not right either. That's what, so they're living vicariously through the team now, and that's his connection to her. Like, she just can't let go of what could have been. So anyway, yeah. So he gets the key from the homeless guy. This is where he runs into Russ, the punk rock guy, Matt Smith, and he's getting into his house, and he's like, what the hell did you get me into? And I think, well, no, you know, I think he's trying to get into the apartment or something, and he has a baseball bat and ends up hitting him in the head. Yeah, I guess is how, you know, like, you think it's the mobsters coming after him, so he grabs a baseball bat and opens the door and boom, hits him in the head. It's Matt Smith, and he's like, my dad died, really, I was there. And he shows him that tattoo and everything, and he's like, dude, they all came looking for this thing. Oh, and you know what we didn't mention, and it doesn't really come into play until you know what happens, but the Hasidic Jews come by the apartment or see him on the street or something and recognize him, and he doesn't stop for them, so they chase him through the street into like a meat packing plant, this, that, and the other, and they're chasing him down, which is going to come back into play later because he runs from them. So they're like, well, clearly he's stealing their money.
Yeah.
And we're talking about, and this is what, 1993? What was the year? 1996?
98.
98? Okay.
Yeah.
But $4 million
Yeah.
is what
I mean, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money now, but like even, you know, that's probably $10 million today, whatever it is. So it is not a small amount of money that this guy has supposedly stolen from them. So when they see a guy that has been seen there that, you know, they think has it and he runs away from them, they think he's got my $10 million. How else are we going to get it back?
Yeah.
So anyway, that comes into play later. You can probably guess why. But anyway, he explains the whole drug dealer thing, and he's got the key that unlocks the $4 million. Fearing for his life, Russ prepares to take the money and flee the country, but Hank knocks him unconscious. So basically, Hank gets Russ, the punk guy, at the locker, and as he explains this whole thing, Russ is like, but I'm gonna
make you the fall guy.
So I'm gonna get out of here and you're gonna be left here. So he holds him at gunpoint, but he's able to fight him off or whatever and knock him out. So he ends up like, and it's interesting because it's like very comedic, like it's a very dark comedy type of thing, because now Matt Smith, he's already been knocked in the head with a baseball bat, he knocks him out again or whatever, and then he's like, you need to drive, I don't drive, and he's like, I can't even like see straight, like you're gonna have me drive around. So he's like chauffeuring Hank around, but he's also like he's concussed, like literally
he's got brain injury. It's also nice, it's another example of the movie where like it's not like, you know, the hero gets shot in the shoulder but can still power through.
Yeah.
It's like there are real world consequences to the physical things that these people encounter.
Yeah. And so I don't know if the book's like this with the screenwriter being the same as the writer of the book. I kind of feel like they would be, but I really like how he writes these characters with consequences. I don't need every film to be 100% believable.
Right.
These are movies after all, and obviously there's some silly stuff in this, but like I do like it when there are stakes. It just makes you feel like you're watching something where you're like, I don't know what's going to happen, because Aronofsky very easily could leave Austin Butler dying in a pool of blood at the end of this, and you'd be like, well, that checks out. That's kind of how, you know, he's in. I guess like again, not to like totally spoil it, but like No Country for Old Men does something similar.
Yeah,
you've had plenty of time to watch that, where the main character does not have a happy ending. Right. Actually, he is stealing money, and Anton Chigurh with his bad haircuts chasing after him. Kind of a similar situation. I mean, so to speak, in the like you're stealing money kind of a thing. But anyway, like that does not have a happy ending. So I could have seen this going the same way. But anyway, so he the cop calls him and says, you need to be. Well, I think she reads off his mother's address and is like, you have 2 hours to meet me at so-and-so with the money, or else she's dead, everybody's dying. So he ends up having Russ drive him to the drop spot, but they chase after them. They end up going through a baseball game or some kind of stadium. Again, I'm not familiar with all the stadiums.
Oh, it was Shea Stadium. They went to a Mets game.
Oh, it was a Mets game?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And someone even mentions the Mets. Okay.
Yeah.
So they go through Shea Stadium. He ends up, as they escape, they get onto the subway with all the other baseball fans. And Russ basically looks like a drunk guy who's passed out, but that him being hit in the head, like he died of some kind of brain bleeding or whatever. So they leave him to pass out on like the shoulder of some other guy as Hank escapes. And then the baseball fan just kind of pushes him like, come on, buddy. Like, but we know he's dead there. He leaves, and then I don't know, he runs into the cop and the mobsters or something. One of the mobsters is dead. I think Russ ends up getting an Uzi from one of the bad guys and shoots the big guy, right?
He gets the Uzi away from him, and but doesn't know how to use it because it's got so much power.
So he's just spraying it, and like, it hits the big guy, and then we're left with the little guy that only speaks in American catchphrases, basically. Like, it's pretty funny that he speaks either Russian or Ukrainian, whatever the language is, but then when he speaks English, he's just like, you know, baseball, whatever, slugger. Like, it's very funny the way it's written, that he only knows things that he's basically seen on TV or whatever. But this little guy kind of tackles him as he's chasing the cop. They have a fight, and like it's pretty funny because the little mobster guy like pulls out a gun, and then Hank puts his dukes up basically, and the little guy's like, oh, okay,
okay,
I'll
you
know, bare knuckle, whatever, I'll do it. And then Hank just knocks I mean, he just
like,
1-2.
I mean, it was very Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Like he's like 2 punches and this guy's down.
It was awesome. And like, so clearly Hank can fight. Like, we've never seen this the rest of the movie, but I could see it. I mean, he was an athlete. He's obviously works in a bar. He's dealt
like,
with some
and he's
stuff.
also like almost a foot taller
he's
than
a big
this
guy. Yeah,
Like,
Austin Butler's big.
But
dude.
also when you see this Ukrainian guy fight, he's like a rabid dog.
Oh yeah, he's crazy. He's just like, rah, and then, but anyway, it's very funny because you're like taken aback, like, whoa, crap! He just knocks him out, like, and he's on the ground. So he runs after the cop. He goes through an alleyway, but I don't know. She's like behind him, kind of a thing, you know. Oh, we didn't mention there is one really funny scene. So you've seen it in the trailers. We talked about it from seeing it in the trailers. So he ends up, the Hasidic Jews pick him up, and because he's like, there's only one way out of this. I need to let them know what's going on. So he's like, hey, I've got the key. I will take you to it, but you got to do me a favor. So he ends up pitting them against each other. He says, if you guys kill the dirty cop,
like
then
Ramona,
I kept thinking he said Roman is what I kept hearing. I'm not saying that is.
Maybe he did say Roman.
It is. Okay, yeah. Detective Elise Roman. Because I was like,
yeah.
At first I'm like, Roman? That doesn't sound right, but it's her last name. So he's like, you take out Roman and I'll take you to the money. And so they're like, well, there's something we have to do. So, you know, they go to their like Jewish mother's house and they're like,
I think it's like the Sabbath.
Yeah. So anyway, like they can't drive. They have to eat certain things, whatever. I'm not totally familiar with the culture, but it becomes kind of a funny plot point though, because they tell Hank, they're like, you're going to drive. He's like, I don't drive. And they're like, do this. We cannot. She's already pissed at us. We're not going to make her any, you know, the mom any angrier or whatever. But anyway, so they sit there and the mom kind of takes a liking to him, and they have this funny through line where she's like, he's Jewish, right? Like, and they're like half Jewish.
Just a good half. Which is also a line in Goodfellas.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
when Henry Hill shows up to his what will be his wife's his family, he shows up and they're like, "Are you Jewish?" And I think the wife says he's half Jewish, and then Henry Hill's like, just the good half.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, and I like that too because it was clever the way that they bring it back. I like it how they have that conversation, they have their dinner or whatever. She takes a liking to him, gives him some prophetic line, something that, you know, I don't know what it was, but she gave him some Uncle Ben line to send him on his way. And she's like, he can't drive, he's Jewish. And they're like, only the bad half's going to be driving.
Right.
Like they bring it back in a funny way where it's like it got him in and then also allows him to drive on the other end. So anyway, he said, so there's this huge shootout. They go to one of the clubs that I guess Bad Bunny used to run, but now he's out of the picture. But they go to one of these clubs and everyone's there dancing and partying, and the two Hasidic Jews tie Hank's
zip
tie him to the steering wheel, and I thought it was pretty clever how he got away.
Yeah, I do too.
He ended up like he was so close.
Wouldn't work today.
No, right? No cars have that. Same thing I thought. But
he uses a cigarette lighter to burn through the zip tie.
And so for the kids that don't know what that is, you used to push it in the car, and when it heated up, it would pop out. And so he was able to like take one of his hands and pull it out, and he I think puts it in his mouth and then is able to burn the zip tie and get out of it, which is cool.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, while he's fussing with all this, do they actually? I guess they do go inside, right? They start shooting up, right?
The club,
and it's a big shootout action sequence that's just crazy. These guys, it's D'Onofrio and why am I forgetting the other guy? What's his name? Liev Schreiber are shooting all the guys up. They're having this big battle, and then you see from Hank's perspective, people are running out and just craziness and explosions and all this stuff. I think what ends up happening is at the end is one of them throw a bomb or something. It's just
there's
chaos.
Like explosions.
It's crazy. Windows are blowing out.
There's two explosions that blow
out. He did have a grenade.
He had a grenade?
Right?
Okay.
Because at first you see him messing with grenades in the car or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they have a whole arsenal, and then I think they did end up throwing one. There's explosions.
Yeah.
So in all this chaos, then you see the two Hasidic Jews like just walking out like badasses. They've taken the entire place out, so they are just as badass as this cop said. Like they're crazy. But anyway, the cop is running right past the car. Hank's kind of ducking down, and that's how he knows where to find her. So anyway, the point is like she has Hank dead to right in this alley, and then she's talking to him, whatever, and then she's like, "What are you gonna do?" And he's like, "I'm not gonna." Oh, I think he gets the gun away. He fights her.
He has the gun on her, and she's just like, "You're not a killer." You'll never pull that trigger, and I know it. And he's like, "You're
They
right,
will.
but they will." And then the two Jews come in and kill her.
And kill her, right?
Yeah.
Point blank. And then this is the funny part, which is like, "Did you get the key?" And he goes, "She didn't have the key."
Yeah.
And they were like, "What?" And then so anyway, meanwhile, we didn't really mention it, but it is kind of a funny plot point. The cat that started all of this, kind of funny that it was cat related, like Nobody with the kitty cat bracelet. The cat that started all this, because he's watching the cat, the key's hidden in the poo. It's now like the last thing he has to remember his girlfriend by, because she took a liking to the cat and she was watching the cat at the end and everything. So now like this cat's really important to him. But it's funny that like the bad guys, like the cop had the cat, then the Hasidic Jews kept the cat, like this cat has moved around. And so anyway, they go back to the van, open it up. He picks up the cat, and the bad mobster guys actually did like hurt the cat's leg, because they said it bit him. He's a biter.
Right.
But anyway, so in the little wrap around the arm the cat's had for a while now, he like broke off the end of the key and hid it inside the bandage. And they look at him and they're like, "Oh man, okay, whatever, it's fine, like you're kind of messing with us, but whatever, take us to the money."
But you're still taking us to the money.
Yep. So they start driving as things are winding down here. He's taking them to the storage unit. The Liev Schreiber takes out a cigarette, and then
I think we should also say, before we get to the cigarette part, is that they do, Liev Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio's characters talk about, like, he's like, "You know what, you have been helpful. We can give you a finder's fee. We'll give you $100,000.
Well, and like they're talking to each other in like Hebrew, and basically they're like, I don't know, he's seen everything, whatever. And I think Vincent D'Onofrio's like, what can he do? He can't really hurt us.
Yeah, and
they've kind of taken a liking to him.
He's a good normal guy, and Liev Schreiber's like, "We'll give you $100,000," and then Vincent D'Onofrio's like, "Maybe a little more, maybe a little more," And so it's like, okay, you're going to get some money for your troubles. And then Liev Schreiber pulls out a cigarette.
He's like, you could live off this for a long time. Like, essentially, he's got to get away with this money and make it last, whatever.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's kind of like, I feel like it's still Liev Schreiber's kind of like pissing on his leg or something. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of like showing him who's the boss.
Right.
I don't think he's doing this on accident. He pulls out his lighter to light the cigarette, or he gives it to him and he's like, "Here, you just pull the trigger," or whatever. And it's clearly, so in the beginning, we see Zoë Kravitz has this funny interaction where she like holds up jokingly Hank with a gun and then clicks it, and it's a lighter. Well, it's such a unique piece of the thing that when he takes it out to give it to him to light the cigarette, he gets this whole flashback and he realizes it was the Hasidic Jews.
Where he got the lighter from was killing his girlfriend.
Yeah. And then so Liev Schreiber's like, "Sorry, Hank, you ran from us. We presumed we thought you were stealing the money, whatever."
Yeah.
And,
you wouldn't talk to us. We had to do something to get your attention.
Yeah. And so anyway, so at this point, he gets the flashback, I think, again, or whatever. We've seen it a few times now, of the drinking and driving incident. And essentially, he floors the car, and they're like, "Hey, slow down, we'll get there." And he just floors it right into a pole. Meanwhile, I think Liev Schreiber has his seatbelt off for whatever reason. I can't remember what he was doing, but at least one of them doesn't have a seatbelt on. Yeah. And he wraps his car around a pole. One of them goes through the windshield. Like, they're...
Well, they might not have had the seatbelts on because they were Jewish, because you're not allowed to the same reason they're not allowed to operate the car.
Yeah,
they're not allowed. Like, I don't even think, especially if you're like Hasidic, like super conservative, you're not allowed to like flip light switches. You're not allowed to do any work on the Sabbath.
Right.
And I think buckling the seatbelt would count as work. Now, I'm not Jewish, so I could be misinterpreting.
I like that, though, because that writing is even
Yeah.
better then.
Yeah, but I think that, like, that would be considered doing work on the Sabbath.
Okay.
And so...
they're both out of seatbelts. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
See,
I hadn't thought about that till
No, that's
this
great.
moment. Yeah.
See, that's something about the script, again, like, going back to the screenplay, and again, don't know about the book, but, like, nothing in this movie feels like it happens by accident.
Yeah.
The cars they drive, the whatever, like every single thing ends up being a plot point. You know, it's like everything's a Chekhov's whatever.
Right.
Like, so if you watch it again, you're going to see all these little elements come into play.
How he's going to kill the Hasidic mobsters is exactly the way he ended up killing his friend. He's going to just crash head on into a pole.
He uses that experience and his trauma to actually end up doing, like, every single thing is planted and comes back, which is just, to me, a really smart script. It's you know, I mean, it's well written dialogue, it's an exciting story, but like all those little details that really make you think about it, I think watching again you'll be like, oh, they set this up and this up. So anyway, so they crash through. the guy in the front, Liev Schreiber's in the front. He is clearly dead on the ground, and then Vincent D'Onofrio has like his throat was slit by a glass or something. He's like, on the verge of dying. What does he say? He says some final line that's again kind of like a darkly comedic line.
God, I forget, but it was a nice movie.
But it was just kind of funny. But he dies out. So now Hank's got the money. He's got the $4 million. He's got the cat, and he basically escapes to
Tulum.
Where is Tulum?
It's in Mexico.
Oh, in Mexico. Okay.
Yeah, and that's where Roman talked about she was going to retire to.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Because that was the reveal when you realize she's bad. She's like, I'm going to retire to Tulum when this is all over.
Yeah.
And it's like, when what's all over? And then
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
See, there's another little clue.
Yeah.
But so it's funny. So he now this definitely has to be set in this time period because of how lenient they were with the identification,
how to get
the passport.
On a plane. Yeah, for sure.
And that's the thing. Like, you set it into this time period. There's no cell phones. Things are more lax with security, right? So like, I do like that when they set it at a certain time to make the plot move, because nowadays you'd just be like, technology.
Right.
Everything can be solved by technology.
Yeah.
So it's smart they did it that way. But anyway, he dresses up. He like shaves the side of his head, put his hair in a mohawk, wears the punk's clothes and everything, and the
talks in an accent.
Yeah, he's talking like he's British, and the boarding agent is like looking at him, whatever, and he's like really charismatic, whatever, and she's like, okay.
She's like, close enough.
Yeah, and he takes his bag to weigh it. And he's like, this is pretty heavy. And he's like, oh yeah, I've got my equipment. He's like, he's in a band kind of a thing. Got all my amplifiers and blah, blah, blah. She's like, all right, sir, have a good one. So anyway, he goes to the beach and he's walking with the cat and sits down at a bar and a baseball game's playing. And the guy's like, is baseball all right? He's like, it's fine. And he ends up turning it off though. And I think one of the last things he does is calls his mom.
Yeah.
Right? And like, we haven't seen the mom the whole time.
Yeah.
I had no idea from the voice who this was.
I could tell it was somebody I should know, but it's Laura Dern.
Laura Dern.
Yeah.
It was so funny when it cuts to her because he's at a payphone. He's like, hey, Mom, I'm not going to be around for a while, but I'm sending you half of everything I own.
Yeah.
So essentially he boxes up $2 million and ships it to her FedEx or what, USPS. And you see on the other end of the phone, it's Laura Dern. Like, what the hell? Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's sitting at the bar and he turns off the baseball and you see him in the reflection, and I guess
that's it. You see him staring out at the ocean.
Yeah.
But I really like this.
I thought this was really good.
Yeah.
I would not mind Darron Aronofsky making more movies like this.
Yeah. Like, it was nice to see him just make a movie.
I agree. He's a talented filmmaker. I will say it's a really good looking movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it looks period appropriate.
Yeah.
His cinematographer, Matthew Lebatique, he did like Requiem and Black Swan. I mean, I think he's done all of his movies. He's Darron Aronofsky's guy.
Yeah.
And he's gone on to do a lot of other stuff. He did Iron Man 2. He did the cinematography. I mean, the guy's done a ton of stuff. He did Venom, which we don't talk about. Not a bad looking movie.
That wasn't the look that was the problem.
No, he's a really good cinematographer. So anyway, he's back for this one, and the movie looks like it's being filmed in 1998.
It does.
It's got the grain to it. I don't know if they filmed. I think maybe they have enough trickery to make digital look like film.
I would be my guess.
But it looks like film.
Yeah.
You can see the grain and everything, and it's not in a way where you're like, oh, that's After Effects. Like, it looks legit.
Yeah.
But again, I think they've perfected it by now. But yeah, really good looking movie, good story, action, acting. It's just a fun time to the theater. It deserves to make more than $8 million or whatever they project. This is a bad weekend for movies.
It is, but
it's Labor Day weekend.
Good movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
If they drop this on Netflix or something, I do think it will get attention and people will like critically. I mean, it's at like 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's not like it isn't getting good reviews, but it's just dropped in this end of summer.
Weird dead zone.
Yeah. Like my theater they had this playing. I went to the B&B with the bowling alley in it.
Yeah.
Which I really like. If you're in the St. Louis area, it took over the West Olive 16. It's now like a B&B 10 with a bowling and arcade. Nice theater, but like it's 5 rows of 4 seats or something. It's like really small theater, right? And I think there were 3 other people in there.
Yeah.
It's just a really slow time. No one was at any movies. Like, we walked out of the theater at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock, where generally it's like things are bustling and people are showing up. Friday night, and it's like it was dead in the lobby. So like, it's just a slow time. Has nothing to do with this movie, but catch this one in theaters if you can, but I'm sure it will be on streaming soon enough, and I think it will get another life.
I hope so. It was a really good
and
one.
Let's see another one from Aronofsky. I like his movies generally, but you're right, like Noah didn't do anything for me. Mother, I know we all did not like it. I kind of want to rewatch it just to see, like, if 10 years gives any distance and if it's any better, because it was weird. But I guess now knowing more of like the biblical stuff he was trying to say, I just kind of want to give it another watch and see if it plays different. But they haven't really done much for me. And this one, I left being like, that was great.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, really fun.
Absolutely. Yep. So anyway, I guess that's it for this one. Let's go around the truncated table and say where to find ourselves. This
is Kevin. Follow me on Twitter at KevinRBrackett.
And this is Tom. You can follow me on Blue Sky or Threads at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online, facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, if you would be so kind, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Real Spoilers. $5 a month, all sorts of bonus content, and you help out a kind-hearted indie podcast.
Yeah, all the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah, both of them. So, so anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, June hides Paul in paper mache.
Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, 'cause we already